Late Act 2 exploration in Hollow Knight Silksong can be brutal. Building up to the max possible health of 9 masks is a good way to increase our chances of survival, and to do that, we will need to scour Farloom for the 16 Mask Shards that are available in Acts 1 and 2. All of that will be covered in this guide, and as usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. Before getting started, I organized this guide so that we are getting the Mask Shards in an order that I've found to be the easiest to follow while progressing through the game. That being said, if you don't have all Act 1 and 2 Traversal abilities, you may want to pull up the guides I have on getting those. I'll leave links to them near the bottom of this video's description. With that, we can find our first Mask Shard in Pebb's shop at Bone Bottom. It's a bargain at 300 rosaries. For the second Mask Shard, we'll start at the Marrow Bellway and move up to the west into Mosshome. We'll then move down through the bottom west exit of this first mossy chamber. Crossing this next gap will require either some fancy pogo maneuvers off of the enemies or the swift step ability, which is unlocked fairly early in Act 1. We'll then have to pass through a long horizontal chamber that is at first guarded by a Craggler mini-boss. It only drops a Beast Shard when defeated, basically a bunch of shell shards, and it's better to leave it for later. At this point, we're better off just sprinting through to the other side of the chamber. Just after exiting, we can drop down through a small hole and break a wall to the east. The second Mask Shard is behind it. The third Mask Shard can be obtained after unlocking the Drifter's Cloak and is closest to the Farfield's Bellway. If you have the Cling Grip ability, you can also make use of a shortcut path leading back to the Seamstress Hut. If not, then you'll need to take the long way around. From the hut, we'll need to unlock and take a series of airstreams to reach the top west corner of the chamber. There, we'll need to solve a small puzzle involving explosives to secure the third Mask Shard. Our fourth Mask Shard is obtained in Shellwood, and let's start by getting to the bench near Sister Splinter, beginning from Bellheart. I'm using the Cling Grips here to make the path quicker, but you'll have to take a slightly longer path if you still don't have those unlocked. From the bench, we'll go down and through the west exit, and we should descend in this large chamber and open the shortcut to the east before we head through the bottom west exit, as it will save us time later. After passing through the next chamber, we will need to go a little further west, then up the platforming section that is above the bench sign. Once at the top, we'll need to move east over to the long horizontal chamber. Getting through this horizontal platforming section will bring us to a cluster of destructible vines. The fourth Mask Shard and the key to our first full mask increase is there. The next 4 Mask Shards will require us to reach Act 2 and the next major settlement, Songclave. That being said, the first of them, Mask Shard number 5, only requires Cling Grip and is nearest to the Deep Docks Bellway. Moving out from the Bellway, we will go up 1 floor and to the west. After passing a bench sign, we will enter a large chamber of the Marrow. We can platform our way up on the west side, then move east to reach an arena, where multiple waves of enemies must be defeated. Once we've done that, we can move to the chamber east to grab a Mask Shard. Once we have the Needolin, we can get this next Mask Shard near Bone Bottom. We will need to move west and down into Moss Grotto, making our way to Weavenest Atla. The door to the Weavenest will only open if we play our Needolin. If we have not already done so, we'll need to go to the eastmost chamber and hit the 2 buttons there to turn the power back on. We can then take the central elevator down to the bottom of the nest. We'll then clamber up the wall to the east and go up into the elevator shaft. There is a hidden path on the east side of the shaft near the top. Moving through, we can grab a relic at the top of the tall vertical chamber, then destroy the wall down to the east to reveal a hidden platforming section involving lots of lava. This section can be completed with just Act 1 traversals, but having the clawline and double jump would certainly help make it easier. We'll need to ring the bell near the first Shrine Ventrica station and establish the Songclave settlement to get this next Mask Shard. I highly recommend my All Act 2 Traversal Abilities guide if you want to see how to do this after getting the Needolin. That said, once we've got a Songclave to start at, we can take the Wandering Merchant quest from the mission board. The merchant, Jubilana, is found up and to the west of the Grand Bellway across the Choral Chambers. Let's start by unlocking a bench near Jubilana, although this is optional. From that bench, we can drop down a couple of levels and go into the dead-end chamber to the west. We'll then need to defeat 2 enemies there before Jubilana will come out of hiding. We can then speak to her to complete the Wandering Merchant quest. Returning to Songclave, Jubilana will then sell us the Mask Shard for 750 rosaries. We are just one Mask Shard away from a health upgrade. To get it, let's head up into the west from Songclave. We will need to get past 3 Grand Reeds, then defeat the Clockwork Dancers in the chamber that follows. They can be challenging, but overall it's a pretty fair and doable fight, and is required in order to get 3 different Mask Shards. After defeating the Dancers and interacting with the console at the center of the room, we can move down into the west into the Cogwork core. There is a chamber to the west where we can rest at a bench and pick up the map for this area. Moving back out, we'll need to drop down and go into the first lower chamber to the west. Getting through one more platforming section, we'll then enter an arena where several waves of enemies need to be defeated upon shifting platforms. Afterwards, we can move in and up the tube to the west to get our 8th Mask Shard. This is huge as it will give us a total of 7 masks. What that means is that we can lose enough health so that we are able to heal for the full 3 masks, or 4 masks if we have the multi-binder equipped, while still having enough health to take another 2 mask hit. I'm not sure if that made sense, but the long and short of it is that we should feel considerably harder to kill now. The next set of 4 masks will take a bit longer for us to get, and will also require us to have all Act 1 and 2 Traversal abilities. We'll start at the Cogwork core bench and unlock the Songclave shortcut into Whispering Vaults from there. You can skip ahead if you already have that shortcut unlocked. Moving out from here, we will need to drop down into the east past several Cogwork bugs. After reaching a low point, we will then need to platform our way up and to the east. There should be a shortcut gate that we can open to the west as we go up, and from there we will move through the door that is up and east. We will then go east through one last chamber to exit the Cogwork core. Hitting the lever in the next chamber will rotate the wheel passage so that we can move through it horizontally, taking us to the Whispering Vaults. There are several boxes throughout this area that can be moved along rails, and we will hit one of these to the west, then wall jump up to an arena. Several waves of enemies must be defeated here, and I'm not sure why, but I had a tough time with this. In any case, once all enemies are defeated, we can move down and east, officially entering the Whispering Vaults. Just beyond a scroll reader, we can hit a drop-down ladder in the top east corner of the room. This opens a path up to where we can purchase the Whispering Vaults map, as well as a shortcut back to the Songclave bench, which we should rest at before going back to the vaults. Starting from Songclave, we'll move down through the Whispering Vaults shortcut that we just opened. We'll then take a zigzag pattern to reach the bottom of the next chamber and head through the exit to the east. Going to the next chamber east, we will drop all the way to the bottom and then move into the west chamber. Here, we can strike the ceiling near the middle of the room to reveal a ladder that goes up into a secret chamber. We can strike the middle box above us to push it up, which will then serve as a wall to climb up and get our 9th Mask Shard. The next Mask Shard we are going to get is on Mount Fay and requires double jump. I just want to show the alternative route to reach the Slab location, which has the closest Bellway station to Mount Fay. The alternate entrance starts us at the Grand Bellway, then goes up and west through the large part of Choral Chambers. If you already have the Slab Bellway or anything beyond that, then feel free to skip ahead. If you still haven't gotten the Fay Down Cloak or double jump, then I recommend following my guide video for it, as it shows how I personally got into and unlocked many of the paths in the Slab. But if that path isn't open to you, then you can fall back on this path, though I'm not sure how you will get some of the keys to explore the Slab if you enter this way. If this is the first time you are entering the Slab, then many of these shortcuts will not be open to you. You will instead need to follow the path that I take to reach the Bellway station. If you are getting to Mount Fay for the first time, I again really recommend going to watch my double jump guide for the full walkthrough of how to reach the mountain's peak. Just come back here after getting to the top of the mountain before jumping off the side of it. On the other hand, if this is a return trip for you, then I'll just show the start of that path until reaching the checkpoint near the Mask Shard. It's the same path you'll need to take when returning, as there are no viable shortcuts. However, it should be easier to do with the help of double jump and immunity to cold damage. I'm going to show how to get the Mask Shard real quick from the bench, then I'll show how to get here for anyone that just got double jump and is at the top of the mountain. From the top of the mountain, you can go back up the final airstream and then through the path to the west. This will take you to a long slope section down the side of the mountain. After opening up another potential shortcut along that path, you can glide the rest of the way down to where this bench and the nearby Mask Shard are both located. Also, if you haven't already gotten the memory crystal tool here, then you should do that real quick before leaving. Mask Shard 11 is found in Blasted Steps and requires double jump to reach. We'll start at Bellheart and unlock the shortcut from the Shellwood Bellway station into Blasted Steps. You can skip ahead if you've already done this. Make sure to move east from this Bell Shrine bench and unlock the shortcut to the Shellwood Bellway station. We will then move west until we are well into the Blasted Steps, or beneath it I suppose. Near the west edge of Farloom, we can get a running start off a raised platform and do a combination of Clawline and double jump to reach a new platforming section. Navigating through this area and dodging falling boulders along the way, we will be rewarded with our 11th Mask Shard. The next area we are going to cover has 2 new Mask Shards for us to get, but one of them requires us to defeat the Beastfly in Hunter's March as a prerequisite. Because of that, I'm going to cover it now, but you can wait until after getting the 12th Mask Shard to tackle this boss if it will make things easier, and you don't mind a little more travel time. All that said, we'll start at the Marrow Bellway station and move east until reaching the prison where we can rest at a bench. From here, we will need to move back out of the prison, then go up 1 floor and through the Eastern Passage. We'll need to defeat a minor boss here to enter Hunter's March, then get through a fairly linear but lengthy platforming section. There is an arena at the end of it where several waves of scars will need to be defeated before we can advance. After that, and beyond a few more platforming sections, we will enter a tall vertical chamber with an airstream. Take care as we go up the airstream to the chamber with the bench, as it is trapped. We will need to go into the secret chamber to the west of the bench and hit a lever to disarm the trap and make the bench safe to sit upon. We can then go out into the bottom east chamber. If it's our first time here, we'll find Chakra selling the map for this location, but if it's any other time after, we will need to watch out for the floor trap and Scarstalker enemy. If it's your first time here, be sure to go east of the airstream and grab the memory locket from the dead bug, then go up the airstream to reach the Chapel of the Beast. We will need to get through a short platforming section the first time through here, but we can hit a lever just before the boss chamber to open up a very obvious shortcut. As you can see in the footage, I tackled this boss with very low health. Even with all my powerful tools, the low health made this fight very touch and go, and a couple attempts were needed to defeat the savage Beastfly. Be sure to go unlock the crest of the beast after defeating the boss, then make your way to Bellheart. There, we should be able to pick up the Savage Beastfly Grand Hunt quest if we have defeated both the Clockwork Dancers and the Savage Beastfly in the Chapel of the Beast. The Savage Beastfly for this quest is found nearest to the Seamstress Hut in Far Fields. There is another Mask Shard that we can get before fighting it near there as well. For our 12th Mask Shard, we will start at the Seamstress Hut, then move to the bottom east chamber and go to the next chamber east of there. We technically only need the Clawline for this Mask Shard, but double jump will also make it easier. We can Clawline to 2 rings in order to reach and enter an odd-looking structure. We'll need to strike a series of explosive cores to reach the bottom of the structure, and if you want to explore any side paths, do so before getting to the bottom, as this whole area will become inaccessible after we complete the main challenge it offers. To start that challenge, we will strike the bottommost explosive, then grip to one of the side walls as most of the ground will be blown away. We will then need to defeat a few waves of enemies here, all while playing the floor is lava, except that it really is. I found the Cogfly's Ascendance Grip and Sting Shards to all be very useful tools for this challenge. Once all the enemies have been defeated, we will need to platform our way back out of this tall vertical chamber, racing against an ever-rising pool of lava. All the while, new enemies will spawn in to shoot fireballs at us. Near our initial entrance, the lava will stop rising and give us an airstream to ride up to the 12th Mask Shard. The last 4 Mask Shards are all of those that take the most amount of time to get and/or require venturing into the most dangerous areas. To start, there is no way for us to get more health before fighting the Savage Beastfly, at least not without going to Act 3. Because of that, we may as well go down to the west from the Seamstress Hut and tackle this enhanced version of the Beastfly. Again, if you haven't already defeated the Savage Beastfly at the Chapel of the Beast, you will need to go do that and also defeat the Cogwork Dancers if you haven't, then go take the Savage Beastfly Grand Hunt quest in Bellheart. Once you've done all that, you can face this new and improved Savage Beastfly, now including lava and adds that shoot fireballs. I fell back hard on my Architect build with poisonous tools to defeat the Beastfly and found it to be a very effective strategy. Once it is defeated, we will need to grab the horn fragment it leaves behind, then deliver it to Bellheart for our 13th Mask Shard. For the 14th Mask Shard, we'll need to journey into Wisp Thicket, which is above the halfway home in Greymoor. I'll show a walkthrough for how to unlock the lift right next to the halfway home first. We will start at the halfway home bench in Greymoor, then move out to the west. After moving through several open areas, we will enter a tower-like structure. We need to make our way towards the upper east exit for it, which will require cling grip to reach easily. We will then want to just move east along the same level until reaching a lift. We can unlock this lift to serve as a shortcut back to the halfway home. Feel free to go rest if needed, then ride the lift back up. This time, however, we'll move into the top of the tower that is west of the lift. We'll then activate a series of airstreams and ride them up to the top west exit, which leads out above these towers. We'll then need to do some platforming in this open area to get to the upper west exit. A double jump at the end of the hall that follows will take us to a new region, Wisp Thicket. There is a bench to the east that we can smack down, and we'll need to then move further east after resting at it. We'll need to get past a couple of wisp lanterns as we move up and to the east into a long horizontal chamber. We'll then rush past 1 or 2 burning bugs and clamber our way up a short platforming section to reach the Mask Shard. I think saving and exiting to the main menu is the safest way to get out of here. For one of the last 2 Mask Shards, we will need to go get the Apostate key in Putrified Ducts. For the other, there is a tool in Putrified Ducts that will make our collective lives so much easier, so let's go there first. We'll start at Songclave and move up to the west. Just past 2 Grand Reed enemies, we can move up and into the Memoriam. The first chamber to the east has a bench that we can rest at. From there, we'll make our way out and up, then move east through the narrow region of the Memoriam. After passing the Rhino Grund, we can move to the lower east chamber to find the map station for the Memoriam. After buying that, we can perform a double jump and clamber up a hidden ledge to reach a long bridge going east. We'll climb our way up to the top of the Memoriam's exterior, then move east with a series of clawlines and drifting. This should get us to a breakable wall near the eastern border, and we can break through it to reach the Putrified Ducts. We'll need to do our best to stay along the top elevated path here as we move east. There are a few nasty enemy types to look out for, but especially watch out for the vines hanging down from the Barnax, as they will snare and drag us up towards them. The snare can be broken with 4 taps of the jump input, and we can also speed through them with the Clawline ability to avoid being snared in the first place. After passing through the first large chamber, there should be a sign pointing towards a Bellway down to the east. We can go unlock the Bellway as well as the bench nearby. For many, this will be the last Bellway station in the game. Let's go get the map for this area before moving on. Back out west from the Bellway, we can then go down a couple floors and into the western chamber. There, we'll actually need to let a Barnack grab and pull us up some distance before breaking free. This will allow us to reach an otherwise inaccessible chamber, which contains the map we are looking for. We don't technically need this next tool, but it will provide us with resistance to the Muck Maggot condition, which will make our lives just so much easier. Moving back out of the map chamber, we can then go down and east into a larger chamber. We will need to move almost completely to the east side of the chamber, then perform a combination of wall climbing, clawlining, and double jumping to get up to and through a breakable wall. Having some cogflies out here would have definitely made this part easier. Anyways, we will then move back west, now along the topmost part of this chamber. We can then take the exit to the chamber above and move east. Outside a dilapidated hut is the Wreath of Purity, which is one of the most beautiful tools in the entire game as far as I'm concerned. We could save and quit, but since we are here, we may as well take the super secret path back to the Bellway station. To get there, we will need to navigate a platforming section in which we actually allow Barnax to pull us up some distance before breaking free, then air jump and dash over to the next Barnack tentacle to proceed further. I was personally having a pretty hard time with this section for a bit, but eventually got it down. At the end of this path, we'll find a special flea NPC, and we can speak through all of their dialogue to get them to join up with the other fleas. Also, the floor to the west of them will collapse when stood on, bringing us back to the Bellway. Now we just need to get the key of the Apostate, and we can equip the Wreath of Purity to make getting it easier. To get the key, we will move out to the west, drop to the bottom of the chamber, and then break open the bottom west exit and move through it. There is a very unfortunately placed duct sucker that I used tools to defeat before moving further west down a tight corridor. The key of Apostate is found in the upper west corner of this chamber within a breakable cage. Before leaving, we may as well go visit an NPC at the bottom of this area. The Huntress is found within her very own hut, and we can speak with her multiple times to start the Blood Feast quest. We will need to break a wall to the east of her hut in order to get back up out of this area. With the Apostate key, we can go get the Mask Shard in the Slab. I recommend either the Crest of the Wanderer or Reaper to make the upcoming platforming section easier. Starting at the Slab Bellway station, we will move into the upper chamber, then go through the Apostate door to the east. We can hit a lever to open the shortcut above us, then move up a few levels to reach an optional bench to rest at. This is where the map is located though, just east of the bench. In any case, we will move back into and up the tall vertical chamber, using the key of Apostate to open the top eastmost chamber. There, we will need to hit a pressure plate at the center of the room, then pogo off the spinning blade that it releases as the blade moves along a track and platforming section. I found that releasing multiple blades in short succession can make this challenge a little more forgiving. That said, the 15th Mask Shard will be our reward for completing this challenge. For the 16th and final Mask Shard, we will need to journey fairly deep into Bilewater. If you have the Bilewater Bellway station, you can skip ahead. If you want a more comprehensive walkthrough on how to reach it, with benches to rest at along the way, I recommend my guide on the secret path to Act 2. For everyone else, here is the very direct path I took to get to the Bilewater Bellway, starting from the halfway home in Greymoor. We should equip the Wreath of Purity if we have it, then move west out of the Bilewater Bellway station. We'll go up and out the top east exit of this chamber, then keep moving east until we see the telltale rings of chakra above our heads. Double jump will allow us to follow the rings, and a short platforming section will bring us to the room containing Chakra, and she'll sell us the map for Bilewater. From there, we'll need to move back out west, then up the tall vertical shaft until reaching the top east exit. We will Clawline across the next room, then double jump up to the somewhat hidden area in the chamber that follows. While we're here, we may as well break through some debris in the top east corner of the room, revealing a hidden chamber with the Quick Sling tool. Going further up will be bad for our health as it's a trap, so we should just drop down and move into the east chamber. This final gauntlet will have us weaving and dodging slubberlugs as we move up and to the east. By some miracle, I was able to avoid getting hit a single time on this run. At the very end of this passage, we'll climb up to a safe spot where we can get our 16th and final Mask Shard for Act 2. There are 4 more Mask Shards in the game, which will bring us to a total of 10 masks of base health, but those can only be obtained in Act 3. For now, we will have to make do with 9 masks, which is still really nice and much better than the 5 that we started the game with. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me in the comments where I will do my best to help. If you want to see more great content, you can head over to my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day if you're here today, have a great Tuesday, and as always, thanks for watching.